So, what is CSS and why it is required? This is the question that we'll be discussing in this particular session. Let me execute this so that we understand what is CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet, and it is used to style and lay out web pages. It is used to display things properly. Without CSS, HTML is only the structure part, and with CSS comes the appearance part. So if you can see in this figure, in this diagram, this is the left side is pure HTML that has head and body. That is only looking as a clip. And when we add HTML, so we use CSS with HTML to improve the look of the web page, basically the appearance and the look. And if we also add JavaScript, which we'll be doing it in detail. So when we add JavaScript, this is how it will look. So the first part is only HTML, that is clicking. Then we have added some colors and some more beautification to it, that is with HTML and CSS. And with JavaScript, we can add some interaction with it. We can add some animation to it. So JavaScript also will be discussing soon. Now, the important thing is that why do and how do we implement CSS? So this page, if we go to the code of this page, let's see the code. This page is without CSS. What we have used here, we have used H1 tag to provide the heading. Then we have a paragraph tag for some explanation of the CSS. Then we have two H2 tag, example 1 and example 2. And then we have two images with the image tag. So we are covering the image tag, we are covering the header tag, and we are covering the paragraph tag as well here. Now, if we see the output, as you can see the output is very simple. It is just showing the content and the images. There's no color, no beautification to it. So what I've done is I have made few more files with the same content. This is again, we have the heading, we have a paragraph, we have H2 image, everything is the same, but we have added some style to it. Now, if we go to the output, this is index 2 page. If we go to the output, so in the first two part, the heading and the paragraph, we have used some style. So you can have a comparison to both of the files. Here it is, you can see without style, and here we have with a style. So what are the different styles that we have used in both of this? We'll be covering with the code part. So here, this is the heading tag, and what the things we have added here are as follows. Let me quickly explain everything what we have done. So first of all, what I have done is we have a H1 tag. We write it H1, and now to add some style, I'll write it here. The style equals to, and within double quotes, I'll use different style. So the first thing I've added is the background property. So there is a background property, and the background color I've mentioned is black. So background color is black. Then I've given semicolon, and then I'm starting the second property. This is the foreground color. So the color of writing will be this antique white. Then I've added a border radius with a 10 pixel radius at the end of the output. So if you can come to the output here, see it is not, this box is not rectangular, but instead at the end there is a circular edge. So this circle is formed with a radius of 10 pixels that we have used. If we remove that border radius, then it will become straight. The box will not be circular at the end. It will be rectangular at the end. So let me come here. Let me remove that border radius property so that we can have a better understanding of how it will look if we do not use. So this is how we can compare now. This is the paragraph is with border radius and this is without border radius. And now suppose we want the circle to be of the edge to be of a larger circle. So we can increase the border radius property. So instead of 10 pixel, if I give it, suppose I give it 20 pixels. So what will happen? We can see here. See, as compared to the paragraph, it is more circular at the edge. So we have a circle at the edge, and that is the end at the end of the box. The box becomes circular. So this is what we are using border radius for. Then we are using text align center property. This text align center property is used with the width property. So first we are declaring width. Width is 600 pixels. That means the heading will be displayed in 600 pixels. And within that 600 pixels, this writing will be at the center. So there are two properties, width of this tag and the alignment of this tag. So for those, there are two styles that we have used. One is the width and the other is the text align property. Now, after that, we have padding. So let us see what is padding and what is margin. These are two very important properties that we have to understand. Padding is the gap outside the tag. Margin is the gap outside the tag, and padding is the gap within the tag. So here, let me first explain margin. So margin we are mentioning here as 10 pixels. So 10 pixel margin will be at the top and bottom. Within the H1 tag, there will be 10 pixel of gap at the top and bottom. And at the left and right, here at the left and right, we have mentioned auto. Auto means the same margin will be used at both the left and right, so it will automatically come to the center. Now if we see the output, so there is 10 pixel gap here within the selected part, and the black color, that is of 10 pixels. At the top and bottom it is 10 pixels. And then here, if you can see, this 10 pixel is coming with the help of padding. So if we increase padding, that black part will increase. And if we increase the margin, this part will increase. So if we want it a little down, so we will increase the margin. So let me give, instead of 10, I give 50. So what will happen? You can see it will come this way. So this is the gap. And if we increase, suppose I increase, let it be 10 now, and increase the padding to 50, you can see what will be the difference. So this is the difference. So within the tag, if we want gap, that comes with padding. And outside the tag, between two tags, if we want some gap, that comes with the help of margin. And at the left and right, we want equal spaces to be left. So that is done with the help of auto. So when we mention auto, then it becomes automatically at the center. If I do not use this auto property, see what will happen. अभी इसको मैंने हटा दिया है, and see, it has come to the left. Why? Because it is not the left side. We have not mentioned how much space will be required, and the right side we have not mentioned how much space is required. So if we mention at the left side we need this one, then that can also be done by margin left and margin right. Margin top and margin bottom can also be set. Let me show you. Suppose here I'll use one more property, that is margin top. This margin top is suppose 50 pixel. Then this margin, it will be at the top. Now let me show you the output. So there is some gap at the top. Let me come back to H1. H1. And margin, so give margin left so that we can have some. Yes. Now you can see this is the gap on margin left. We can increase that gap even more by using, instead of 50 pixels, suppose I give 150 pixel. So that gap will increase on the left. So now it has increased. Now we don't know exactly how much to put so that it comes at the center. So for that, what we do is, instead of writing margin left and doing some permutation combination, in this margin we'll put auto, so it will automatically align it in the center. So this has come aligned properly in the center. Now we have discussed some property. Again, I'll come to see each one of them. Background color, black, we are writing with white color. Then we have a radius, then we have some width, and within that width, we are giving the alignment to be in the center. And then we are giving some padding within the tag, and then we are giving some margin that is outside the tag. So this is what we have done in the H1 tag. I'll remove this H1. Now, in paragraph, again, we have used almost the same thing. We have a border with gray color, then we have a background color, then we have a border radius of 12 pixels, padding, etc., etc. So this content that is there in the paragraph tag will appear beautifully when it is shown in the browser. And we have not used any style in these four tags, H2 image and H2 image. These are four tags which have not been used with any of the styles. So if you see the output, these are looking flat, not properly decorated. Now I'll come to another example. So whenever we mention the style in a particular tag, then this is the syntax. We write H1 or any tag, be it, then we write style equals to, and then within the double quotes, we mention all the properties of the style, so that styles will be implemented only in one particular tag. And this type of styling is called inline styling or inline CSS. So in these two examples of H1 and P, what we have implemented is inline style. So in inline, we implement a style only in one particular tag. Wherever we are writing it. Wherever we are mentioning the tag, we are writing the style at that particular tag. Now in this example, this is another example. See, in this example, we have H2 tag, image tag, H2 and image tag. And for this, what we have done, we have in the head itself, we have declared all the styles that are required for H2. So why will we declare in the head? Because in this particular page, there are two times. There can be multiple times H2 tag or a particular tag. So when there are multiple times something being used, and writing every time can can take some more time. And whenever we like to make some changes, then also we'll have to make changes in all those tags. So instead, whenever we have to implement a particular style at more than one places, we do not use the inline style property. Instead, we use the internal style property, and this is internal style property, where the style is mentioned in the style tag in the head. And suppose we have to mention a particular style in more than one places, and we do not want to name it by a particular tag that is there, then we start with a dot symbol. Like here we have mentioned dot card, and this dot card is considered to be a class which can be called in anywhere. So in this image tag, what we are doing, we are calling this particular style, this set of style. The name of this style is card, and then we can call it here. Now, see the difference in H2. We have not called the class. Why? Because H2, the in H2, you can see we have mentioned the style by the name of the tag itself. So when we name us, when we style with the name of the tag itself, then it is automatically linked with it. But when we are mentioning something that is not by the name of the tag, then what we have to do? Then we have to call it with the class. So we are calling it here with the class. Now here in H2, what we are doing? We are putting the background color property, the border radius property, the color property, the width, the padding, the margin. And in card also, what we are doing? We are using the width property, height property. These are for images. The margin left, margin right, we are putting it auto, and then we are also using a display property so that it appears as a block. And now if we see the output of index 3, if we see the output of index 3, you can see that the H2 and see the H2 and the image is also coming properly in the center. Now, if we compare it with the first output, see here, this is a web page that is only HTML. We have not used any CSS, so it is not looking that beautiful. But when we see it here, it is looking more beautiful because here we have used some styles to make it beautiful. So this is why we use CSS, and there are three methods to use CSS. Two I have already discussed. Let me come to the code again. Whenever there is a particular tag in which in that particular tag only we want some styles, then we mention the styles within the tag itself. This is called inline. But in a page, suppose there are multiple places at which some particular style is to be used. Like in this, we have two H2 tags and two image tags, and we want both the H2 to look similar. So instead of writing all the styles in two places, we have written it in here at one place, and then it is automatically linked by the name. Since H2 is here and H2 is here, so it is automatically linked. But now, many times what we do, suppose we do not use H2. Instead, we write is, suppose heading or next heading. Suppose this way. So what now this next heading is not a tag. So to implement those styles, what we have to do, we have to call it. So here to call it and to link, we'll use class equals to next heading. Similarly, we want the same thing to be implemented here also. So I'll copy this and I'll write it here as well. So this way we will implement when the style is to be implemented at multiple places, then instead of mentioning it at a particular tag, we mention it at the top of the head with a style tag, and then we call it a class. The class, when we mention the styles at the top, there are two ways. If we are giving it by the name of the tag, then we don't use dot and it is automatically linked. But when we name it with some user defined name, then we have to link it by mentioning explicitly where that particular class will be required or the style will be required. Now, suppose we want something to be implemented in the body. So body, we can write this one, body. The body, since body is a predefined tag, everything within body will be uh, use will have this effect. So I'll mention font family as Arrow. Similarly, maybe I'll use font. Uh, it is suppose bold. Now, if we see the output of index 3, here if you see the output, everything is bold and it has been, the font style has changed to Robo. So this is how we implement. Here you can see this is not center aligned. Why? Because we have not used text align first to center in the paragraph. If we align it properly, then it can also look. Now, the third way to implement is external CSS. How we implement external CSS, we'll discuss here. Now, here what we have done, we have created a file style.css, and all those styles that we want are mentioned separately in a file. And in all those pages where these CSS are required, what we have to do, we have to only link this page with that style.css. So this is done with this link tag. Link rel is style sheet and the href is style.css. So what is happening here? It is linking with the style.css. So in this style.css, we have h2 and center, and here we have used h2 tag. So h2 tag will be automatically linked, and we have a center class. So this is getting linked with the center class. So this is how we manage external link. Now, when we will be using external link in a website, there are hundreds of pages, and if you go to the ICICI Bank page, then every page of the ICICI Bank website will have some heading in written in the same way. The colors of the logo and many things are written in the same way. If you go to a particular brand, a particular brand follows a particular set of theme. So all those themes are written at one place, and in all those pages we can call it and use it. Now, suppose we have index 3 and index 4, and in both these we have h2 tags, and we want in both these pages the h2 tag to be implemented by the style written in CSS. So instead of mentioning it here, what I'll do, I'll remove from here. Now, if I remove the CSS from here, and instead I'll use the link tag. Link rel equals to style sheet and href equals to style dot css. Now what will happen? H2 is here. H2 is, and the class is center. So you can see now we have two pages, index 3 and index 4. Both have h2 and img tags, and these pages should look similar. So what we have done, we have mentioned it here as an external file, and then we have linked these two pages. So if we go to example 3 and example 4, index 3 and index 4, and the output will get the same result. See here in this page, this is example 4. Now, if I change it to example 3, that will have the same effect. So, like in programming language, whenever we make some user-defined function, we create a library file and then we include that library and use in all those pages. Similarly, in web page designing, whenever a particular class, a particular style is to be implemented in more than one page, so in those situations, what we do, we write it as a separate file and then we call it whenever and wherever it is required. So this was an introduction about CSS, the different types of CSS, where and how we will use it. And now we'll move on from the coming session to some more complex parts of CSS, wherein we'll be using the media query, etc., to make the pages responsive. And then we'll be adding JavaScript to make some interactive web pages. So that will be done in the coming session. If you have any question right now,